Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news now, folks. Today we have some serious news coming out of Pittsburgh that could shake up the entire AFC North. You know, the Steelers have always thrived on resilience, on that gritty mentality that defines the franchise, but right now, there's an ongoing situation that could have ripple effects not only for this season, but potentially for the team's future. It all centers around their current quarterback situation, or should I say, the uncertainty thereof. We're talking about Skyler Thompson, a name that not many fans expected to be a key player for the Steelers, but with injuries piling up, he's now in the spotlight in a very significant way. So here's what's happening. Skyler Thompson, who was brought into the Steelers' fold after being released by the Miami Dolphins, has been dealing with some injury troubles. During practice this week, he suffered a hamstring injury that has now put his availability into question for the upcoming game against the New York Jets. Now, it's important to note that Thompson was a full participant in all practices earlier, which initially suggested that he was healthy and ready to go. But then, out of nowhere, he was limited on Friday, and that's usually a red flag. It indicates that something might be lingering, perhaps a minor injury that could become something more serious if not handled properly. This news hits particularly hard because Thompson, a 7th-round pick in 2022, has had a pretty tumultuous journey in the NFL so far. When he got his shot with the Dolphins, it was earlier than expected due to injuries to their starters, and he had to step in. Unfortunately, his stint as a starter wasn't exactly smooth sailing. He struggled to find consistency, completing only 7% of his passes, and his stats weren't exactly inspiring. Just one touchdown against 4 interceptions in his 138 pass attempts, compiling a total of 721 passing yards. Not exactly the kind of numbers that scream franchise quarterback, right? But despite that, he kept fighting, kept pushing, and when his time with the Dolphins ended, he was released. That release, of course, prompted some self-reflection. It's never easy being let go, but for Thompson, the opportunity with the Steelers was a fresh start, and you could tell he was eager to make the most of it. When Pittsburgh signed him, it was more than just a roster addition. It was a chance for him to prove himself all over again, to show that he could be part of a winning organization, and maybe, just maybe, carve out a longer-term role in the NFL. And now, with this hamstring injury, that chance might be slipping away again, at least temporarily. Because if he can't go against the Jets, the Steelers will have to rely on their other quarterback options, which are limited at the moment. And that's where things get even more interesting, because the backup quarterback situation is a bit complex. Will Howard, the rookie, is currently on injured reserve after suffering a broken bone in his hand during training camp. So, Pittsburgh's options are pretty thin right now. If Thompson is unable to play, the team might have to turn to someone else, maybe even a practice squad call-up or a game day emergency. But it's clear that the Steelers' coaching staff is hoping Thompson can shake this off quickly because having him available adds much-needed depth and experience behind their starting quarterback, who, as of now, is still uncertain. Speaking of that starting quarterback, we all know who it is, the veteran who's been leading this team with that calm, steady presence. But the team's success hinges not only on him, but also on how well their backup quarterbacks can step in when needed. And let's be honest, the Steelers have a rich history of overcoming quarterback injuries, from the days of Ben Roethlisberger to recent seasons where backup quarterbacks have stepped up and kept the team competitive. But each injury, especially to a quarterback who's just trying to find his footing like Thompson, can be a huge setback. It's a reminder of how fragile that position can be, especially in a division as competitive as the AFC North. Now, for the fans watching, this situation raises some questions about the team's overall depth at the position and what adjustments might be coming. The Steelers have been known for their solid defense and a balanced offensive attack, but at the end of the day, the quarterback position remains the most critical. If Thompson can't go, the team's game plan might have to shift, perhaps leaning more on their running game and defense, trying to control the clock and keep the Jets a fence on the sidelines. But we all know that in the NFL, a game can turn on a single play, especially when you're dealing with limited quarterback options. And let's not forget, this injury news comes at a pivotal point in the season. The Steelers are in the thick of the AFC North race, which is arguably the toughest division in football right now. You've got the Ravens, the Bengals, and the Browns all vying for supremacy, and every win counts. So, losing your starting or backup quarterback, even temporarily, can be a game changer. It's a situation that fans and analysts alike will be watching very closely, hoping that Thompson's injury isn't serious enough to keep him out long-term, but prepared for the possibility that the Steelers might have to adapt in the short term. What makes this even more compelling is the resilience that the Steelers have shown over the years. Despite setbacks, they have a way of bouncing back, of rallying around their core and finding ways to win. Remember last season, how they fought through injuries and kept themselves in playoff contention. That same fighting spirit will be crucial now as they navigate this tricky quarterback situation. The coaching staff, led by head coach Mike Tomlin, is known for making smart decisions and keeping the team focused. They've dealt with injuries before, and they're probably already exploring contingency plans to ensure they're prepared for any scenario that unfolds in the coming weeks. Now, looking ahead, the Steelers' schedule doesn't get any easier. They face some tough opponents, and every game becomes a bit more unpredictable when your quarterback situation is uncertain. The Jets will be coming into this game with a high level of motivation, eager to prove themselves and capitalize on any weaknesses Pittsburgh might display. It's a classic NFL matchup, teams fighting not just for a win, but to establish their identity midway through the season. And for the Steelers, that identity is rooted in grit, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of excellence. But right now, their ability to adapt quickly and get their quarterback healthy again will be the key to maintaining their competitive edge. Now, fans, I want to talk about the bigger picture here. The Steelers have a deep-rooted history of overcoming adversity, whether it's injuries, tough schedules, or tough opponents. Remember the days when Ben Roethlisberger was the guy guiding them through thick and thin? Well, even though he's long gone, that same fighting spirit lives on. It's about the team, the coaching staff, and the fans rallying together, believing that whatever challenge comes their way, they can find a way to rise above it. That's what makes being a Steelers fan so special. It's that unwavering belief that no matter what, they'll find a way to compete and come out on top. The current situation with Thompson's injury is certainly a bump in the road, but it's also a test of the team's depth and resilience. It's a reminder that in the NFL, nothing is guaranteed, and every player's role is vital. The Steelers' front office and coaching staff will be working tirelessly to evaluate their options, possibly exploring trades or signings if needed, and making sure that whoever steps into the game is prepared to give their best. Because at the end of the day, every game counts, and every player's effort can make the difference between a playoff push and an early exit. And let's not forget, this is also a story of opportunity. For Skyler Thompson, if he can recover quickly and get back on the field, it's a chance to prove that he belongs in this league, that he can overcome adversity and perform when it matters most. For the Steelers, it's about rallying around their current squad, trusting their coaching staff, and playing with that same steel-like toughness that has defined their franchise for decades. The fans are already rallying behind them, showing unwavering support and hope that their team can weather this storm and come out stronger on the other side. To sum it all up, the Steelers are at a crossroads. With Thompson's hamstring injury casting a shadow over their upcoming game, the team's depth and resilience will be put to the test. It's a situation that could influence their playoff ambitions, division standings, and maybe even their long-term plans at quarterback. But one thing is for sure, if there's one team that knows how to fight through adversity, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've faced tough times before, and they've always come out swinging. So whether Thompson plays or not, the Steelers will be ready to give it their all, embodying that never-say-die spirit that makes them one of the most iconic franchises in NFL history. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this injury situation? Do you think Thompson will be able to recover in time, or will the team have to turn to someone else? How do you see the Steelers managing this challenge, and do you believe they can still make a deep playoff run despite the setbacks? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers. Remember, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Thanks for sticking with us, and as always, let's keep that Steelers pride alive.